You can find my friends in the country where they fill me with the bobcat spear and the blacktail roam. Where the dirt road ends, that's where you can find the real me. You're the yippee coyotes yelling, welcome home. Welcome home.
All right. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Inside the Office with me, Sheriff Briese. Thank you for tuning in, joining in, and happy Cinco de Mayo Day. As we roll into May, the weather is looking good. Everybody's having a good time, I hope. And as always, we are going to start off with our monthly look back for the calls for service. Hope everybody can hear me okay. We're all doing good. And so we'll start off with calls for service. Calls for service this month were 1,750 calls for service. We had 47 jail bookings and 4 DUIs. So staying busy, staying steady, I guess you should say. But everybody's working hard for you, Mariposa, and we just thank you for engaging, tuning in with us. And being part of the team. Also, if, like I've said, if your birthday, you work for the sheriff's office and your birthday does land on a live day, we are going to give you a shout out. So Deputy Jonathan Converse, happy birthday. Today is his birthday. So if you see him, wish him a happy birthday. And today we are going to talk about, well, first I'm going to do a couple announcements. Just so everybody's aware, the sheriff's office, May 14th, is providing a CPR class for our youth, 14 to 18-year-olds, hopefully as they wind down the school season, they can prepare for their summer jobs and hopefully give them a little bit of experience with CPR as they venture out into the summer jobs of lifeguards and babysitting and everything else. So to continue to keep everyone safe. And then also this weekend, if you happen to be around Mariposa, they are having the powwow at the fairgrounds. Come support the Southern Sierra Miwoks and everybody. Just a fun community event. And come to the powwow. That's Saturday at the Mariposa Fairgrounds. So we are going to dive into, as we're rolling into summer, we're going to be diving into, fire. We call it fire season. Hopefully we don't have a fire season, but we always want to be prepared for fire season. In an event, it does occur. And so a little bit later, this will be the first time we've ever done this. I have a special guest, our chief, Stephen Ward. He will be coming on. But before we get Steve on here, I wanted to just highlight some of the sheriff's office responsibilities regarding the evacuation process. And so the sheriff's office went completely digital with the evacuation process. And so being digital, this evacuation process, we will be able to live time the evacuation zones and those zones, road closures, and everything, because we can do it live time now without delay. The residents, can go to our Mariposa public information map, and you'll be able to see where the evacuation zone is. You'll be able to see any road closures. And also, if you're not sure if you're in an evacuation zone, you can enter your address and see if it falls within an evacuation zone. So pretty good stuff, high-speed stuff, again, to be the best of the best for you, Mariposa, and to keep everyone safe. But this process with our digital evacuation process internally for us, we'll be able to have better knowledge of gaps that are in our coverage. We'll be able to live time know how many individuals may be utilizing shelter. We also, the public health, Mariposa Public Health runs a program called SAFE. So if you have medical or mobility challenges, you can sign up with this public health. And then when we go into evacuation mode, we'll be able to live time know how many individuals may need additional assistance. So this also will help us internally know, making sure that all the residents are been identified and individuals have been contacted. So it's just a quicker, better, faster way to make sure that everybody is safe during these stressful times. So also we've been working with our ag department and the ag department, we're working with it's called Ag Pass, and this is going to be for our commercial livestock owners. It'll give them the ability to have a point of contact during evacuations or fire disasters, to be able to have the ability to go in safely to feed and give basic animal care to their animals. So hats off to everyone working on that with the ag department. It was not just the sheriff's office, it was the ag department and the sheriff's office and county fire and CAL FIRE. So again, all your first responders working together to make sure that everybody is safe. And we are also very, very close. I know I've talked about this a few times with our sheriff app. The sheriff app is live, can be downloaded for free off of Apple, but we're making some big changes to that app to be able to also provide the emergency alerts, push notifications, the ability to quickly go to the public information map. And so hopefully within this next month, we'll have that finalized. And another reason this app, I think, is going to be very beneficial to our community is I'm going to work hopefully with hotels, Airbnb. And so when individuals are visiting Mariposa County, if they download this app, they'll also be able to get emergency notifications while in our county. So hopefully that will be a win for all of us. And again, if you haven't, make sure you sign up for our Nixle and Everbridge systems. And the last thing I'll kind of tap on is to have what we call a go bag. And so this bag could be a Ziploc bag, it can be an actual bag, or however you want to do it. But basically, if you can keep your medical records, your birth certificates, your social security, all your important documents contained in one bag, that that special spot where you want to put it in an event, disaster or fire or evacuation process starts. You're not running around the house trying to collect all these items. So we'll pre-plan, have that collected in a bag or in a box or however you want to do it, but make sure everything's together. So when it's the stressful times, we know where to go and where to look for things. And again, I thank everybody that has logged on and is tuning on. I hope this is beneficial. We've been doing this now for over a year. Hopefully reaching everyone's communities. I love the informalness, so we can have casual conversations and engage with one another and work together as one Mariposa and work together as a community to continue to always provide safety and provide information and provide communication and the ability to communicate with your sheriff's office. So, and before I put Chief Ward up on the screen, if this works, I do want to, I talked about, we applied for the high frequency grant through the OES department, and we actually just got notification that we were awarded this grant. And so this grant is funding to basically purchase 2 base stations in an event that communications, radio, phones go down. Our public safety dispatch center will still be able to function over short radio wave frequency stuff. So it is another tool in our toolbox that we can make sure that we have backups to backups in an event something fails. So it's, again, just being proactive to make sure that Mariposa County is number one. We are the best of the best, and that we provide the best for you, the citizens of Mariposa. and the visitors of Mariposa. And I also want to just display some artwork that my I guess it would be my kids' cousin. Her name is Madison King. So I know Madison's family sometimes listen to this. I don't know if they are. Right now they live out of county, but they are hopefully come back someday. But I know Grandma and Grandpa lives there. So I told her, she drew me this free-handed. So I said I would put it on the inside the office. So there you go, Maddie. Your drawing is now viewed by everybody watching. So with that, we are going to do, hopefully it works. And if it doesn't, we'll continue to work on everything. But I want to introduce Steve Ward. He is the chief. There he is, County Fire, and he is Cal Fire, County Fire, leading Mariposa County. So I'm going to turn it over to Steve to talk a little bit about fire preparedness. He's also open for questions when he gets done. We'll open it up for any questions you have. But we are hoping this audio and everything works. So the floor is yours, Steve, and I will be quiet. Sit in my car.
No problem. Can you hear me?
Yep, you're good.
All right. Well, welcome, Mariposa, Jeremy, Sheriff Briese, and the Sheriff Department. I really, really appreciate this opportunity to come in and talk to everybody in the community, and be able to let folks know what's going on within the fire department, as well as you stated, we're coming back in again for the wildland threat. The wildland season is coming, and I'll just preface this by our director has given he wants us to start utilizing the term fire year. So you'll start hearing me refer to fire year versus fire season. It just seems to be more of a year-round process anymore, statewide. So, and Mariposa County, of course, as everybody knows, is no stranger to wildland fires around here. And we've definitely had our share over the years. So really appreciate the opportunity to come in and share with you and be part of this, and appreciate that. So as Sheriff Briese mentioned, we're coming into the fire year, and now is the time. In fact, this week is Wildland Fire Preparedness Week. So I'll just throw that plug out there. And this is the time of year where, as Sheriff Briese mentioned, we're thinking about, the go bags, we're thinking about clearance around your structures. So everything that relates to Public Resource Code 4291 are the things that we should be working on right now. The clearance around your houses, limbing up your trees, breaking up those canopies, getting the brush and the grass peeled back and mowed back away from your residences, making sure that your driveways have good access, egress routes, not just for yourselves, but for fire equipment that may need to potentially come in. I can assure you also, when it comes to evacuations, the Sheriff Department and CAL FIRE, Mariposa County Fire, we work hand in hand there, and the Sheriff Department is the lead on that. They work real well together, or we work real well together, I should say. And unfortunately, we've had plenty of practice in this county, but I can tell you that when the time comes and that needs to happen, that I'm very confident and have a lot of faith in our Sheriff Department. And so, there's always the opportunities to let folks know what's going on, be prepared. And then in those situations where we ask folks to leave those areas. So, but as far as preparedness goes, again, the wildland threat models, I should say, are where we're at as far as live fuel moistures and the growth of our fuels. Those that have been driving to the lower parts of Cathays Valley, you'll notice that there's very scarce fuels on the front countries, especially where it's been fed off by cattle. However, it's browned out, and those annual grasses have turned. As we move up into the elevations around the 2,000-foot marker coming into town, you'll notice that the grasses do get thicker, and they are also starting to brown out and turn annually as they do every year. So our brush model fuel moistures are where they were last year. They're right at or near critical levels, and it's May. So unfortunately, as far as giving good news, as far as the fuels conditions, I'll say that unfortunately they are ready to burn. We are in that state right now. However, we're not at a point where we're expecting a large devastating fire at this point of the year. So obviously those conditions do change, and they come, in late June, early July. Those conditions will get to that point, especially with our carrying fuels and all of our grasses when they finally turned, and the brush models have dried out even more. But for now, for those folks that are still trying to get their brush burned up and get things pruned up and cleaned, this is still a great opportunity in the time of year to be doing that. As of May 1st, as required by Public Resource Code 4423.1, we are, or 4233.1, sorry, we are required to have burn permits. So burn permit restrictions are in place. So 4x4 piles, making sure you have your 10-foot clearance. You can get those online. You can also, through the CAL FIRE website, you can also get those in person at the stations. For those that have piles that are bigger than 4x4 and you'd like to burn those, still opportunities to do that. We request that you go by your local CAL FIRE station and get what's called an Le5 permit, and it's just for tracking of piles that are larger than 4x4, and so that way you're not out of the parameters of the 4291, the 4423, 4233 policy.
So formal.
So yeah, one of those numbers. So anyway, those are the things that should be happening at this time of year. On the CAL FIRE side, I can assure you, and the county fire side, I can assure you that training has ramped up. We're hiring of all our seasonals are getting hired back for both hand crews and engines. So you'll notice that the CAL FIRE stations have all opened up and they're staffed. And then here I would expect late May, early June that we'll be going to our peak staffing, which means that all of our engines for our 2 engine stations, all of our dozers, and all of our crews will be staffed and ready to start assisting for any type of wildland fire emergencies that we have. And of course, our station personnel, our engine crews, they respond, they're all risk. They respond to all emergencies in our community. So the county fire side, again, our volunteers are working hard. They're doing what they call their PAC test. They're doing their wildland training right now, prepping for the wildland season. We just finished a few months ago, we just finished all of our mandatories for the structure side as well. So that way they're all trained up and ready to go for the 2022 fire year as a whole. So that's, I'm excited to announce that we do have part-time employees now, jobs being offered within Mariposa County Fire. It's the first time in history that I know of at the firefighter and driver operator level that we actually have paid positions that we can fill for the county fire department. So that's an exciting thing that's moving forward for us to help try to bolster the services that Mariposa County can provide to our citizens. So anyway, that's pretty much what's going on. The forecast for the fire season. I would expect that not really much has changed as far as conditions over the last 5 years. So fortunately, last year we were up north a lot, and so I'm not sure. The Northern California is still in the same situation as Southern California. So fire season outlook is a wait and see game, but the potential is always there.
So last year when I was giving this live, we're talking about fire preparedness for people that are viewing right now. Like I said, we're live, and also questions that came in later. There was a few questions that I wrote down, and I was asked if I can bring on a fire chief. So I do thank you for coming on. But there was a couple questions on either simple tips regarding around your house. There was also a question about leaving lights on or curtains open, and or the propane tanks to turn off, or the other question was locking the doors or keeping the doors open in an evacuated fire danger area. So maybe if you could give some knowledge on, to the viewers right now, and
Sure.
and for the potential viewers, when this is viewed after we were done going live. Just some simple tips, as well as those questions of which way is better. And there may be, maybe there is no better way, but,
Well,
but whatever, fire personnel suggests.
sure. No, I understand. So for folks that are having to evacuate their house, what condition should I leave it in? So I would always recommend that, leaving, I would turn the lights off, but I would definitely have the ability. What we do is when we go in is there's curtains covering the windows and we think that the fire is going to impinge the house. That's one of the things we'll try to do is open the curtains, that kind of thing, get the curtains away from the radiant heat of the window. Really, I would hate for you to shut off your propane and, anything of that nature to, that folks might be utilizing for amenities throughout their home. If we have to come around your home and do a defense, then we'll shut those off. We'll shut off the utilities as we feel is appropriate. Most likely the electricity is going to be shut off in that area anyway. So leaving the lights on or off, it really doesn't matter too much. The only difference, I guess, would be if you left your lights on and they turn the electricity back on. The PG&E or the utility folks and fire folks could tell, and law enforcement could tell which areas were, are charged back up again with electricity. So as far as that goes, I wouldn't worry too much about that. It just, like Sheriff Briese mentioned earlier, your go bag, leaving your house unlocked is fine. If for some reason we need to make access in there, we can do that. The sheriff department also helps out in evacuated areas for maintaining the protection of your properties. If you locked it and we needed to get in there, we have the means to do that too. So it really is to your comfort and whatever you feel like what makes you feel most comfortable, and we'll be able to react to those things. So we do have a checklist of items that when we are protecting structures, or if we feel that the fire is going to be an immediate threat that we might do.
Nice. All right. Well, if you don't have anything else, we're gonna go into questions here in a minute. Before I go to the question, though, also like Chief Ward's saying, in an evacuation zone, why we staff that so heavily is we make sure that your property, everything is secure and safe. So, for the sheriff's office standpoint, we definitely take that to heart, and that we thank you for your trust that the fire personnel, that when they're telling us, this is a dangerous situation and we need evacuations. I mean, that's the last straw. We never ever want to do that. However, if we do thank you for your trust and your cooperation. And that's why we man those road checkpoints and the evacuation sites 24 hours a day with a lot of personnel to ensure that there is no mischief going on inside the evacuation zone. So we do thank you for that. So with that, we will go to any questions. And like I said, if it's for Chief, I'll direct them to the Chief, and then if they're for me, I will try to answer them to the best of my ability. Sean Long, nice to meet you, Chief Ward. Well, thank you, Sean, for tuning in, and I'm sure Chief says thank you as well.
Hi, Sean.
Ted, a related question. We have a whole house emergency generator. I'm guessing that's a fire question.
Okay. Is that a question, or as far as, I guess I'm kind of confused on that one, but yeah, there's a lot of folks who do have generators that are set up to when the power goes out, it continues on, and that's fine. That's not a problem. I would say that that's probably a good thing for your refrigerators and your freezers and those type of situations. They typically, that's more of a life safety issue for the whole grids when the power goes down. So if you have a whole house emergency generator keeping your house charged up, I would say that's fine. If for some reason we felt it was necessary that needed to be cut off, we would just do that.
Nice. Dan Sohn, to what height does CAL FIRE recommend trimming of ladder fields beyond 100 feet of structures? Again, for you.
Yeah, no problem. So, yeah, obviously we know that 30 to 100 feet, they're talking about, minimum of 6 foot high, really, because you're talking about those ladder fuels going up into the trees. So, recommended trimming ladder fuels beyond the height. Really, it would be the height of the trees up to 6 to 10 foot if you can, trying to keep the trees up away from those ladder fuels. Outside of that 100-foot zone, I would still recommend. You could keep going forever, right? So it really depends on how your property's set up, but there's no recommendations truly after that 100 feet. But I would suggest that as you get to that 100 and you continue to scale away from the house, maybe we're talking 10 foot or 6 foot to 4 foot to 3 foot, and it really depends if that 100 foot is on an incline to your house, where your house is sitting up here and you're in an incline. Obviously you'd want to keep those trees limbed up higher for that radiant heat and that fire spread. If it's on flat ground and you're out without your 100 foot, I would say that you're probably good, as long as your canopy is broken up.
Nice. Cindy, thank you all for the information. 10 years ago when I moved here, we did not have a clue. Well, thank you for tuning in. Again, this is why we're doing this, to hopefully reach people and help spread awareness and education so we all stay safe. Lou, touch on the importance of evacuating when there is an evacuation order and what the procedure if someone refuses to evacuate. So this is a touchy situation because, like I said, when in Mariposa County, we do a unified command. So it's Sheriff's Office, CAL FIRE, everybody together. And so all these professionals come together and they make a professional decision to mitigate, life-saving decisions to make sure that people are not hurt. So when an evacuation order does come into effect, basically that area is deemed, a life safety event. So deputies and search and rescue volunteers go out there to do the evacuation process, not to take it lightly, but basically we are being told, and we're meeting and watching all the fire behavior, that it is predicted that if you stayed at that area, there's a high potential that your life would be in jeopardy. So most people comply. Obviously, some people don't want to comply or don't understand the magnitude of fire danger. And there is your private property rights. However, if you are juvenile, you're not the adult, we can go in under the sheriff's office and remove those individuals if they're put in harm's way. However, if you do want to stay, that doesn't mean that you can ride around on your quad and check out what's going on. That means that you're saying you're going to stay at your private property, and you're going to take that risk. Unfortunately, we hope that doesn't happen because we can always build, we can always rebuy stuff, but you only have one life to live. So if we have to intervene, we do. However, if you're a sound mind adult and you're on your own private property, that means you're making the decision to stay. We will honor that. However, that doesn't mean you can roam about. That's why we have law enforcement in there, because we're protecting property and the safety of all the first responders. That also doesn't mean that you can go in and out and get groceries and supplies and everything else. That means for the duration of the evacuation, you're making a decision to stay. However, if you make a decision that you do want to leave, we will honor that as well. But it's not a back and forth thing, because we have everybody from the heavy equipment, the fire danger, the tree snags, all the dangers that we got to take into consideration, and we can't be basically playing chauffeur for necessity. So it's kind of make the choice. Hopefully you make the right choices. And like I said, we'll work with you, but we're not going to forcefully drag you out of there unless you meet the requirements, such as a juvenile that can't make the decision for yourself. So I hope that answers it. Like I said, we do this stuff year round when we talk about community engagement, but it also is trust in your law enforcement, trust in your firefighters, that when that critical incident is occurring, if they're saying, hey, we need this area evacuated until we can mitigate the issue, it's for your safety, to prevent danger to your life. I think I answered that. Okay, you have anything else to add, or are you good?
What's that? Was that for me?
I didn't know if you had anything else to add, or you're good.
No, you covered it. I mean, from the CAL FIRE perspective, obviously we respect folks, just like you said. We respect folks that make the decision to stay at their homes, but it does cause a little bit more, I should say, tracking awareness, because as we're bouncing from house to house, or we're trying to do firing operations or firing, or it could be firing, but fire operations around structures and doing the best we can at that. We have to also account for those that stay behind. So, even though we respect that, like Sheriff Briese said, really the issue is that we're in and out of driveways back and forth. And if they're coming in to triage a house and it's going to be fine as is for now, and they're going to go triage the next house, or they need to do something, one driveway or two driveways over, folks coming out of their house and saying, hey, you can't leave. Where are you going? Just kind of distracting and holding up those operations. Those kind of situations can inhibit fire operations. So, and just like Sheriff Briese said, folks that are running in and around that area where they live, if they're not staying on their property, when we have equipment that's moving in and out, sometimes fast, it just creates more of a hazard. So, but we definitely respect those that say they want to stay at their residence.
All right. Janet, I have a question. I live up Live Oak Road in Mariposa, where we had that fire. I asked the deputy if they can get someone to check on my dad, and they said they had already talked to people down there. But when I went back into town to get I'm trying to see the rest of the question, but get a signal for my phone. He said no one came to the house. Why did they say that? Like rudely, because he was talking to his buddies. Well, I mean, obviously, I don't know that specific incident or question. Hopefully, they are stressful times when we're doing evacuations, but we are professional, and we're professionals, and we're here to serve Mariposa County and you, the residents. So, unfortunately, if that did occur, I apologize if we missed that. But like I talked about in the beginning, we worked very, very hard to get this digital evacuation program going, so that we don't have, or we have less ability to make mistakes, because it's not just the responder doing the evacuations now. As soon as that house or that person's contacted, it live into the web or wherever it goes, but it lifetime tracks to all the individuals at maybe the command posts that are setting up shelters or person notifications, where before the old paper system, you had to wait for those people to get back and then sort through the paper. So now with the digital lifetime evacuation process, and Sergeant Tim Rumfeld and his SAR team really put a lot of energy into this. And I want to say probably one of the first counties to kind of go this model, and it's going to not only save lives, but have quicker responses, and hopefully mitigate, I guess it would be a human error. So apologize, but let's move forward and continue to do good things. Caroline, hey. And I don't know, there was a Mary on here earlier. I'm supposed to say hi to you. So if you are watching, you're one of my biggest fans since the beginning. So anyways, Caroline. So the says maybe the sheriff's office and local fire can come up with a list of things we can get to do ahead of time. So we do have some stuff at the sheriff's office, and I know the CAL FIRE website has a ton of preparedness for outside of your house, what to do, as well as things inside, or like what we talked about, the go bags. So there should be a lot of, and we will make sure to put it on our Facebook as well. Any written documentation for being prepared, and also I know Cal Fire's website has a lot of that information as well.
Yep. Ready, set, go, all that stuff. Yep.
And do we have any more questions? Wayne, what do you both think about the group Protecting Battered Women RC? I'm not really sure what that is. I'm not sure. I'll have to research to see what that is. I'm not sure what the question really is, but thank you for communicating, because that's part of this platform, is to have conversations. And if we don't know, we're going to figure it out. So thank you. Robert Hill, there have been a lot of suicide attempts among our teens, regardless of it being an attention. Oh, my hand's gone. Attention seeking or legit attempt. Do we have the means to bring awareness to our teens, showing them there's help for them and they can reach out for assistance? So I would say we can always probably do better, but I know there is a lot of effort right now going into awareness, community awareness. Health and Human Services have, and our office is part of the Behavioral Health Board. We have partnered with behavioral health, what we call a track team. So they actually respond out with us in the field when a person is in crisis. And I believe there's a subcommittee at the Behavioral Health Board, and they're always looking for volunteers to be board members from the community. So that may be something that you look at. But I know when I was on that board as well, they had a subcommittee just for teen and suicide prevention strategies, not only going into our high schools, but in our communities. And also our Safe at Home is really been ramping up this year, I think, with all their education and their Friday Night Live and everything that they do. So I'm pretty sure we can all wrap our heads around it, but there's a lot of people working to address these issues. Jerry, how soon before CAL FIRE starts home inspections for vegetation? Defer to you.
Right. Okay. So yeah, no, the vegetation inspections, they're actually year round. They're going to start ramping up a little bit sooner. We have a total of 3 right now, defensible space inspectors for all the residences in Mariposa County. So if you think about all of our communities and all of our structures, currently we have 3. We also utilize our engine crews to help out with those inspections, but obviously they're training and they go on emergency calls a lot. So they try to get to it as they can. So the answer to your question is they've already started. And whether they've reached your house or your area right now, it's hard to say. But I will say it's also challenging trying to get to every residence within the county. So a lot of areas, they split their battalions up by thirds, and they'll try to 100% in part of their battalion or part of their area. And then they do requests as needed for the others, and then they rotate. So that way they're hitting at least one. They're trying to hit their resident at least one time, once every 3 years. However, having said that, the goal is always trying to inspect all of our residents as best we can. But it definitely is challenging to hit all the residences within the county.
Nice. Linda, it's always good to. Did I finish the question? Well, thank you, Linda. There it goes.
Be ready.
It's always always good to be ready. I agree with you. And again, this is why we are, and I thank Chief Ward here for coming on today. Is to communicate with one another, help educate each other. What we don't know, we don't know. And so, yeah, thank you for tuning in. Janet, another question. If we have a tree or trees down around the house, like 20 feet or so from the snowstorm, and my dad just had heart surgery and can't really do anything right now. Is there any way we can get it removed or cut up for free, or how much will it cost? So I'll defer first to Steve if he has anything, and then I may add on to that.
Okay. So, this is pretty common actually, with our tree mortality that happened, not just from our snowstorm and our wind event we had, but with tree mortality, it's pretty common. There's a lot of downed trees on folks' property, and some of our community members, they just don't have the means, the ability to cut those up and get rid of them. So what I would do is defer you to the Fire Safe Council, Mariposa County Fire Safe Council, Mariposa County Resource Conservation District. I could say that those two entities are they're very engaged on trying to help the community with through grant projects of getting those trees removed for them. And so I would reach out to those folks.
All right. Next question. Nicole, we had a couple of CAL FIRE employees come to my house a couple days ago and gave us amazing advice. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. Very good. Excellent.
Everybody loves a firefighter.
Not all the time. We can't go there.
Do we have any more questions, or are we good? We good? No more questions? All right. So before Chief Ward signs off, Mariposa, thank you for allowing him to join us on Inside the Office. We thank you, Chief, for your always cooperativeness and your working together so well together. I couldn't ask for a better partner and providing the public safety for Mariposa County. I know you like us quite a bit, but I didn't know you had our patches and everything behind you in your office. So thank you for being our number one fan.
That's right.
You have anything else to say before you sign off?
I think it's just appropriate, being that we are a volunteer fire department, although I just said we are going to be got approval to hire some part-time help, that if you are interested in becoming a Mariposa County volunteer, we have different positions within the department. It doesn't have to necessarily be fighting fire. We have medical responder only. You can become a support member to support, public events, or support the fire department in other parts of the mission, especially on the prevention side, public education side. So by all means, go to our website or come by the office. We're always looking for volunteers. So I just felt like I needed to plug that in there, and I appreciate you letting me do it.
All right. And I had one other question that didn't pop up, and that's from our good friend over in Don Pedro, Walter, asking when are we going to make it out. We will do our very best. He was kind of the initiator of Coffee with the Cop, but maybe we can drag Steve as well, and we can do a coffee over there in Don Pedro and meet some of the community. And if you missed it here, we'll talk about again, keeping Mariposa safe. So Mariposa, thank you for tuning in to Inside the Office. I truly appreciate it, and I hope this is good information for everybody. And I just want to remind all them folks out there that this weekend is also Mother's Day weekend. So thank you, mothers, for everything that you do. And with that, stay safe, stay healthy, and have a good day.
You can find my friends in the country where they film me, where the bobcat spear and the blacktail roam, where the dirt road ends. That's where you can find the real me. You're the yippee coyotes yelling, welcome home.